Hi, I'm Nathan Cruz, and for once, I'm not sat inside my toy room. So today we're actually visiting somebody else's toy room at a nice 2 meters nice, might I add. My long-time in-ring rival, but more importantly, my long-time best friend since I was about 8 years old, and that would be Matt Myers.
Hello there.
So yeah, Matty, why don't you just tell us about some of your toy collection here, because you've got a pretty good collection.
It's a really random collection, to be fair. I don't think I've ever set on just collecting one thing. Much like yourself, I've gone through phases. One of the first things I ever started collecting was wrestling figures. I think when I was about 15, 16, I moved on to a lot of the Star Wars stuff, and that was based on my love of Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith after that came out. I went and collected a lot of the Legacy Power Ranger stuff when that came out, and that was only maybe, how long ago? 2013?
Yeah, 14.
14. So I was collecting a lot of that through that time, and I think that's taken up a big part of my display. But the very first thing I ever started collecting was Pokemon cards.
Now, most people will remember that Pokemon was a huge phenomenon in the 1990s. In fact, it's the highest grossing media franchise of all time. In fact, in 2019, it was recorded to have sold over 28.8 billion of their trading cards. For those who don't know, Pokemon actually began in Japan and was founded by Satoshi Tajiri in 1995 and was part of the Pokemon Company, shared owned by Nintendo, Creatures and
Game Freak.
Game Freak. There we are then. Our Western fans was first introduced to Pokemon in December of 1998 by Wizards of the Coast. And it was them that actually gave us the very, very clever catchphrase of "gotta catch 'em all," introducing the first 151 Pokemon along with the trading card game, thus resulting in kids like myself and Matty wanting to go out and get every single one of them. To this day there's actually 802, but I don't know that much about the current history of it, so that's why I'm going to hand things over to Matty to talk us through his trading card collection and some of the Pokemon that are more recent.
Well, to be honest, I don't know too much about like the newer Pokemon. I do play more the recent games. You've recently had Pokemon Sword and Shield, which introduced a load more Pokemon. Before then, you had Pokemon Sun and Moon. Every time they relaunch a new series, you essentially get a brand new set of Pokemon. But my heart is really set with the first two sort of series of Pokemon, which is of course the base set that we've got, where you're looking at your Charmanders, Charizards, and so forth, and the Johto series, which was the sequel essentially to the beginning one, and that had Cyndaquil, Typhlosion. It also introduced a new legendary Pokemon, which you had Lugia, obviously Entei, Suicune and Raikou as the dogs as well. And that's pretty much because of the first two games, in my opinion, were some of the best games as well. You had Pokemon Red and Yellow, Red, Blue and Yellow, and then of course you had Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver, and then eventually Pokemon Crystal.
So obviously one of the things that I remember, as I've already mentioned, is the trading cards. So if you show us through some of the cards.
Yeah, so these are some of the original Pokemon cards that I had. And this has gone from your first 150, obviously. The holy grail for me as a kid, and I think anyone will remember of this, of course, is the base set Charizard. People would fight you if you owned that card, essentially.
I remember a news article about someone getting stabbed for that. Like legit, like. That was gold.
It was, and that was the thing. Do you know what, more recently, when you think of like the Pokemon Go and stuff, in the Pokemon Go game you had to walk X amount of miles to, hatch the eggs of these good Pokemon. And people complain about that. And I was saying, try growing up when we did. We used to have to fight just to keep our Pokemon cards. That was the real struggle. This is another personal favourite. This was a Machamp, which interestingly enough with this one, it has the first edition sticker, although it isn't actually first edition, because the difference between the very first set of Pokemon cards is that you had what they call Shadowless. And if you see they've got a shadow around here, it actually means that it's not actually a first edition card, but for some reason all the Machamps that came out in the first deck with that was printed with the first edition sticker. Oh,
I never knew that.
I could, do you know what, I could be wrong, but this is just on what I've been told, to be honest. That's the thing when it comes to this stuff, I'm not entirely clued up on what things are worth. I could be sat here with thousands of pounds worth of cards. I also could be sat here with next to nothing. I'm not sure what these things are worth or not. I'm not an expert in that. You can get your cards graded and so forth, but this was the base set, and then you went from the base set into the Jungle series, which had this little mark on in the corner. Then there was the Fossil series, which was again really popular, and the good thing about these ones is it introduced cards that we didn't necessarily get in the first original base set of cards that came out. I think if you look at one of the base set cards, it actually says in the corner that it is 102 were released, and of course obviously there was 150 Pokemon in that first series. So these are some of the base set cards. But my favourite, I think, would have come from the series where we had... My favourite actually came from this series, and these were the Team Rocket.
Remember these, the Dark Charizard.
Dark Charizard, Dark Blastoise. These two were, again, some of my favourite cards, but it was actually, I think, I was talking to this the other day to someone, but it was the gym leader cards, and this one is probably my favourite one here, the Blaine's Charizard. The artwork on this one is just absolutely fantastic, along with the Blaine's Arcanine as well.
And these are the Japanese versions, right?
Yeah, these are the Japanese versions. Now, as a kid, obviously, I couldn't read Japanese as a kid, I can't read Japanese now, do you know? But there was something about the artwork of the Japanese cards that I used to really, really love as well, and I think it was that mystery of not actually knowing what it says or what it is, but it just made these, obviously these Japanese cards of these Japanese monsters look so cool, I suppose. Blaine's Moltres. I picked that up for £1 recently at where was we? At a car boot sale. Someone was selling Pokemon cards. I was just asking how much you want. He said £1. I was like, yes, absolutely.
How many of these have you kept all of since you was like a kid?
So a lot of these as a kid. The base set is definitely, everything in this base set folder is things that I've had as a kid. In this one, I did recently go back and try and clean up a little bit. So say if I had a Dark Kadabra, I'd try and get the Dark Alakazam or something like that, you know, just to complete the set, I suppose, of the other 3 cards. This one was a recent purchase as well, because I had the Sabrina's Abra and Sabrina's Kadabra recently, but I never had the Sabrina's Alakazam, so that was something that I added to it. Rocket's Mewtwo, again, that was a recent addition. It's got a slight crease in the card there, but I managed to get that for like £6 or something. It was really cheap, but again, it was one of them cards for me that I always wanted as a kid, so when I saw it for that price, even with the slight crease, I was like, you know, I'm gonna get that. Of course, these cards are, I mean, the way they look, they all look very similar to the base set in the artwork, but it's the newer cards that absolutely blow my mind in terms of the art style. Now, again, I'm not massive on Pokemon cards in terms of playing the actual games or anything, but look at the artwork on some of them.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine having them as kids? Even better, I got them as an adult, so it's wonderful.
I saw some of the more recent cards and they had like an electric version of like Charizard, which I thought was really weird. How does that even...
So I think that was part of the game. I think the games were becoming a bit stale, so the idea was that these Pokemon that were, say, a fire type Pokemon would then become a dual type Pokemon. So now if you play one of the more recent games, you've got the TMs, which was the technical machines that you could teach your Pokemon moves. Pokemon like Charizard would now be doubled up as both. I think you can learn, obviously, fire moves, electric moves randomly, and obviously dragon type moves as well, which dragon type was a new version that came as well. But I actually got some of the Delta species, as they're called, Delta species. Yeah, so that's it, yeah, that is the electric type Charizard there as well. And again, it's the same with this one. We've got Typhlosion there, which again is a fire Pokemon, and it's done as a psychic type Pokemon. So yeah, there's a few of these that, well, it was an entire series that happened with, and I think that was based on maybe something that they'd incorporated into the games and then into the cards as well. For me, Pokemon cards, there's something about it where now and again the stress of adulthood gets to you, and I just need a bit of release and something that'll just take me back and ground me a little bit. And there's been times when just, you know, walking by the shop and I thought, I'm going to pick up a pack of Pokemon cards, and that's what I do essentially. And it was something that just made you feel good. It was always kind of fun to pull cards from. I know now there's even an app which is like a virtual card opening simulator. It's random. It's just base set of cards, but you open them up and it's like, oh look, I got a Charizard on my phone which I can't do nothing with.
That's how you take the fun out of something.
Exactly, yeah. How can you take the fun out of things? Create an app with it.
So how many did you say you have here again?
Probably about 350, I reckon.
350. So out of all this 350, which, like, what are some of your favourites that you have in this 350?
My favourites definitely come from the Rocket series, I suppose, and the Dark series. So the Dark Charizard. Most of the Charizard cards, for some reason, I think it's because as a kid, you know, I always wanted, I mean, the pursuit for the original base set Charizard as a kid, you know, we all went through that as kids. So I think there's something about those cards in general that I do have an attachment to. The Dark Charizard, the Blaine's Charizard. Even more recently, this is based off the recent Detective Pikachu movie. But look at the artwork on some of these Charizards as well. Again, this is another one, the GX from the original Pikachu movie. See, I don't play the games, so I don't necessarily know what a GX card does, or what An X card, I think, is a basic card, so you can use an evolved form of the Pokemon without actually having to evolve it throughout the game.
I'm just amazed to see that the HPs now go up to like 250. I remember like being a kid and like if it was over 120, it was like, no, you've got a fake card.
Yeah, if it said 140, it's a sticker. But yeah, so there's some of the HP on some of these cards now, like 250, 120 was the benchmark. I was recently shown a Snorlax that was like 340 HP. But I bet you're looking at some of these and have no idea who they are.
Oh yeah, I don't like. I passed even some of the Johto League. Like that was where I started to phase out of Pokemon, and I still don't recognise some of them.
See, so a lot of these, I mean, I haven't watched any of the recent series of Pokemon, but I have enjoyed the recent games. And one of the most recent games I enjoyed the most was the Pokemon Y game for the Nintendo DS, and this had this one as the legendary Pokemon. And some of the artwork on some of these,
how do you pronounce that?
I don't know. Evital? No idea. But I mean, as a Pokemon, I always thought it looked really cool. Obviously, it's a Dragon and Dark type, I believe it is. Mainly Dark type by looking at these cards. But yeah, some of the artwork on these ones, I just think it's a fantastic looking Pokemon, to be honest. Because some of them now, what are they? Ice creams and a set of keys?
There isn't.
There's Pokemons that are a set of keys. Some of the concepts are ridiculous. It's how it's you know when you think the program has jumped the shark, when you look at the new set of Pokemon and one of them is a set of keys.
Creative has nothing for you.
No, creative has nothing. And this was, again, that was the Pokemon that went alongside the Y, which was the Evital, or however you say it, and that was Xerneas as well, so that was part of the X and Y series. But yeah, to be fair, I felt like there was a really good bunch in that series of Pokemon. But again, probably involved the keys in that one as well.
Just while we're here, we may as well take a look at some of the other stuff in your collection as well. Like what are some of the favourite things that you have in this? I mean, it's a pretty cool toy. There's some of the things that I'm jealous of, to be honest. It's Legacy Megazord for one thing.
Do you not have the Legacy Megazord?
Not the original one, no. I've got the Legacy Thunder Megazord.
Yeah, you've got, yeah.
I'm eyeing that for when you're dead.
to be honest, if I die, you're pretty much entitled to all of this. You know, it won't go anywhere else, will it? Again, this is one of my favourite things. This was a present, obviously, from you. This was from my birthday. You got me this for my birthday a couple of years ago, and there's a story behind this. Me and Nathan actually got our faces painted as Sting many years ago in the summer of 1998? 99, summer of 99, and yeah, Nathan surprised me with this, which is a carded figure of the WCW Smash and Slam Sting figure, so I was absolutely made up with that one. And again, you've got your first ever wrestling figure, which was the Hulk Hogan.
Same series, Toy Biz. Smash and Slam, that's proper 90s stuff, I love it.
And when you did that, I was inspired to get, this was the very first wrestling figure I ever got as well. Of course, this isn't the one I bought back then, I rebought this one, and this was Scott Steiner. Do you remember when I broke your Scott Steiner when I threw it down the stairs?
Down the stairs.
Yeah, he did a hurricane round and I threw it down the stairs, and he was really mad because he just broke into two. Some of my more recent stuff, I mean, I've got a few things here. I recently picked up this actually. Kurt Angle is probably one of my favourite wrestlers. That was the entrance greats Kurt Angle from his debut in 1999 at, was it Survivor Series? Yeah, Survivor Series 1999 that was based on. This is Ultimate Warrior. Again, picked this up at a car boot sale many years ago. It used to, well, it has a drawstring, kind of like the old Woody dolls from Toy Story. Let's see if it works. That's a no. This is something that Nathan bought me as well for my birthday a few years ago. Do you know what? Nathan gets me the best birthday presents. I know he often shouts me out in his videos of things that I've bought him, but some of the stuff he's got me over the years. You got the original Green Ranger helmet, didn't you?
Gemma got me that,
yeah, your fiance got you that, and I was absolutely jealous. And then my birthday came along about a year or two later, and anyway, my birthday came and the present wasn't here. And he said, you know, it's not turned up yet, but it's worth the wait. About a month later, it turns out it really was worth the wait because this came in the post and I was absolutely made up with that one. Yeah, so again, it's a bit of a random collection and not everything is displayed. I've only recently just moved into this house, so I've still got some boxes full of things over there.
You've got boxes that need unboxing?
Yeah, boxes that need unboxing.
Let's unbox them.
Let's unbox them, let's film some stuff.
Matt Myers, I choose you!
Myers!
Who is the Myers?
I can only say my name.
Hey, old pals. Many a match were fought over them back in the day.
Blood was actually spilled for these things. We'd beat each other up with everything. I got quite a few of these actually. Got the, obviously the Winged Eagle Cruiserweight Championship there. This was yours. This was the light heavyweight championship. I remember the reason why I loved